My name is Callum and I am a zookeeper here at the Greater Vancouver Zoo, and today I will be talking to you about some amazing animals that have a complex and amazing backstory that has become intertwined with our own human history. These are the camels. Now behind me you can see two of our resident camels. That is the Bactrian camel, that's named Gemma. You can recognize her by her two humps. And behind her is April, the dromedary camel. You can recognize her by her one hump. And over in the back we have a male camel called Nimit, who is also a dromedary camel. It's really rewarding working with these animals because they're very curious. They will often come and approach and see what staff are doing at the zoo around their enclosure or inside their enclosure. Although I will say sometimes it can get a bit difficult when an animal is stepping on a hose or blocking a doorway. We'll often have to negotiate with the camel, who can be up to 400 to 600 kilos, to move out the way. This often involves bribery with a slice of apple or a handful of alfalfa. What's also interesting is they make a lot of vocalizations, such as bleats, growls, and rumbles. This is very interesting, especially with Nimit, who often gives off a low kind of grumble, and it makes you completely understand why the camel was chosen as one of the 9 animals that they used to make up the dragon, that being the head of the dragon and the head of the camel. But camels have an amazing backstory of evolution. Here in BC, they might look a bit out of place because we often picture camels as animals that live in the desert, having big wide feet to walk on the sand, thick fur that allows them to deal with hot temperatures during the day and cold temperatures during the night in the desert, and amazing eyesight and sense of smell in order to find resources, not to mention their hump that allows them to store fat when times are scarce. But what's interesting is that camels actually first evolved here in North America from an ancestor around 45 million years ago, about the size of a small dog. Now gradually, as the environment changed, as it came from tropical rainforest to savanna to steppe-land, the camels changed and diversified to various different species. When it became steppe-land, they actually grew longer legs, longer necks, and the wide padded feet that we recognize in camels today. Today we will actually only find 3 extant species, extant meaning alive today, and that is the Bactrian camel, the wild Bactrian camel, the domesticated Bactrian camel, and the dromedary camel. Because of domestication and overexploitation, the Bactrian camel is now a critically endangered species, with around only 2,000 individuals estimated in the wild in northern China and southern Mongolia. And the dromedary camel is completely extinct, or at least the wild species is completely extinct. Probably because it was overexploited by human settlements, or potentially outcompeted for land by the domesticated dromedary camels. And it's so important that we protect our species, because it would have been so easy for camels to have disappeared completely before mankind even understood these animals and what purposes they've served human history. It would have been completely different if these animals had not been around, because we wouldn't have been able to settle, trade, or travel across many lands using horses that were made possible only by the partnership with camels. It would have been so easy for camels to have disappeared during the Ice Age, but they managed to survive. Because of that, they formed a partnership with mankind. Our history would have been completely different without their presence. That is why we need to make an effort to protect the still extant species living in the wild right now, and the ecosystems that they occupy. If you're interested in learning more about camel conservation or the conservation of any other species at the zoo, we encourage you to come here and ask as many questions as you like about our resident camels and the other animals.